Let's talk about money in a relationship. It's a funny thing, isn't it? It can be this amazing tool you use to build a life together, or it can become a weapon that just tears everything apart. So today, we're going to dive into the common mistakes that cause all that conflict, and more importantly, how you can steer clear of them.
You know, this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. It frames the whole conversation perfectly. Think about it. Every single dollar you and your partner handle is doing one of two things. It's either building your home, your future, your security, your dreams, or it's chipping away at the foundation of it all. There really is no middle ground.
So how does that happen? How does this simple tool get turned into a weapon? Well, here's the thing. It's almost never about a lack of love. Instead, it's about these specific and totally avoidable missteps that just create these little cracks in the relationship. And that brings us to the first and maybe the biggest category of mistakes.
Okay, so the first major problem area, it all comes down to a trust deficit. When you can't trust your partner with money, the entire partnership starts to feel shaky, right? Because we're not talking about simple accounting errors here. These feel like betrayals that can eat away at the very heart of your connection.
And under that big umbrella of trust deficit, you've got these usual suspects. Hiding things, competing over who brings in more money, or, just plain old selfishness. Each one of these is like a slow-acting poison to the bond you share, creating distance and a whole lot of resentment.
But at the absolute core of all this is financial secrecy. A hidden bank account, a secret credit card you've been running up, a bonus you forgot to mention. It doesn't matter what the secret is. It all sends the exact same message, loud and clear. We are not on the same team.
And that division, man, it's a deep one. It's not even really about the money that's being hidden. It's about the trust that's been shattered. Once you cross that line, trying to get back to that place of feeling like a true, complete partnership, well, that is incredibly difficult.
This all boils down to a fundamental shift in your mindset. Are you competing with your partner? Is the question always, who earns more? Or are you collaborating, asking the question, how can we win together? One path leads to a constant rivalry in your own home. The other leads to a real, honest-to-goodness partnership.
All right, so if a lack of trust is the big emotional landmine, the next issue is all about the practical side of things. A complete and total failure to plan. Which, when you think about it, makes sense. It's pretty hard to make a plan with someone you don't fully trust. This is when couples just drift financially. They're just floating along, hoping for the best, with absolutely no map to guide them.
And these kinds of mistakes leave a couple so vulnerable. No plan, no safety net for emergencies, no clear idea of who's supposed to do what. It's exactly like setting sail in the middle of a storm without a rudder and then acting surprised when you end up way off course.
At the absolute heart of any failure to plan is the lack of a budget. I know. People hear that word and they just cringe. They immediately think restriction, like it's a financial prison. But that's a complete misunderstanding of what a budget is actually for.
And here's the consequence in a nutshell. If you don't give your money a plan, if you don't tell it where to go, it just disappears. Poof. It gets spent on little things here, a few big things there. And by the end of the month, you're both just staring at your bank account wondering where in the world it all went.
The key is to completely reframe what a budget even is. It's not about limitation. It's about empowerment. It's not a restriction. It's direction. A budget is the tool that gives you the freedom to actually go after your shared goals.
So where does this whole habit of not planning even start? Well, a lot of the time, it's right at the very beginning. Couples get so focused on the romance and the wedding plans that they just completely sidestep those uncomfortable but necessary conversations about money, about debt, about spending habits.
And that silence before the wedding, it sets a really dangerous precedent. Because the issues don't just magically vanish after you say, I do. Nope, they just hang around, and they fester and grow until they turn into much bigger problems down the road. Okay, so beyond a lack of trust and a failure to plan, there's a third saboteur we need to talk about. Your mindset and all those external pressures. These are the sneaky influences that can quietly derail even your best intentions. It's not just about what you do, but about what you allow to influence you. And here we've got a real mix of modern and timeless pressures.
You've got that classic desire to keep up with the Joneses, pressure from extended family, the instant gratification of impulse buys, and of course, all the noise from so-called experts on social media.
This one right here is huge. It's this constant pressure to project an image of success, even if that image is built on a mountain of credit card debt. It's choosing the appearance of wealth over the actual reality of financial peace.
It really forces you to ask, what do you value more? The temporary thrill you get from showing off, or the lasting comfort that comes from knowing you're financially secure? Because ultimately, true wealth isn't about what you own, it's about peace of mind.
And this is a trap that's pretty unique to our time. Your social media feed is just full of people yelling at you to invest in the next big thing or buy some new gadget. But most of this trending advice is just noise, and it almost never fits your specific, personal financial situation as a couple.
Okay, so we've covered the trust deficit, the failure to plan, and all those outside pressures. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not hopeless. So let's pivot and talk about the solution, a clear, actionable path toward building real financial unity as a team.
So what even is financial unity? Well, it's so much more than just having a joint bank account. It's a mindset. It means you're so aligned in your trust, your daily habits, and your big picture goals that you operate as one single, powerful financial team.
So how do you get there? Well, the source material lays out 5 really clear, actionable steps. Number 1, plan together. This means creating those shared goals and building that budget we talked about, not as a restriction, but as your roadmap. 2, be transparent with your income. This one directly rebuilds the trust that secrecy destroys. It's about putting all your cards on the table. 3, save and invest with discipline. This is where you turn your plan into reality. And finally, the source suggests grounding these habits in faith by honoring God first and making it a point to pray together over your finances.
Let's end on this powerful idea. Money itself is not the bad guy. It's a neutral tool. It's the human stuff, the selfishness, the lack of knowledge, the failure to act as a unified team. That's what turns that simple tool into a weapon. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's the one money conversation you and your partner have been avoiding? The one about the debt? Or about finally making a budget? Or about a big goal for the future? Because having that talk, as scary as it might seem, might just be the most important first step you can take toward building a stronger home together.